I also just think that the man versus bear argument is stupid and doesn't actually address any of the concern that us women have with men or bears.
Well, I think it would indicate that women who'd pick bear...
I agree with that.
I think it would indicate that women who'd pick bear are sexist.
I think they're scared.
Scared.
Oh, okay. So hold on. Let me change it then. So if we replace man with black person, and if you pick black person because of previous negative experiences that you've had, would this be racist?
I mean, I think making it a definition of black man is racist in itself. I'm just saying men in general.
What do you mean definition of black person?
I mean, you have to make that distinction. I think that makes the question racist in itself. When it's not race, it's gender.
Well, that's fine.
Wait, so that...
Just granted that, sure, the question in itself, let's just assume for a moment that it's racist. Does that mean that if you wouldn't pick the black man that you're racist?
Well, I mean, like I said, it's just men in general, but that's also like, does that change the type of bear? Is it a brown bear or a polar bear?
Do you agree that there's some nations of men where, due to the culture, they essay more than other groups of men in other nations?
Based off of the statistics that we have, that could be accurate, yeah.
Sure. So in this case, if somebody were to make a presupposition about black men based on this categorization of a subcategory, wouldn't that be racist?
So I think it's interesting that you took I think this question is dumb because it doesn't address the actual issue and turned it into a race thing. So
yeah, what does that have to do with the question I asked?
I'm just testing the logic.
Logic for what? I'm saying that the question itself is dumb.
Well, I was saying it's a test for
that's how I'm saying that the question itself isn't. There we go. Now that we have ascertained that you have an opinion and I have an opinion.
You actually just said that you agree that me saying that the question in itself doesn't actually discuss any of the actual
Doesn't
issues.
mean that the question is dumb.
Okay, so what would you say that the question is?
Well, the question is trying to test your logic. It's just trying to determine if you're consistent in your logic across multiple categories. So if it is the case that you think 1 in 10 men would SA, perhaps that's true, right? But what if we break the demographic down? Are you willing to bite the same exact bullet in the same situation if it were the case?
How about let's
hang on.
No.
Hang on. Let me finish. I can't finish the question?
How about
You're so terrified that I finished this question.
No, I'm not. I'm
then
just
let
saying
me finish it.
Shiver me
let me
timbers.
finish it. Then let me finish it.
Okay, but why make the distinction?
Can I finish the question?
You can.
Great. Then let's do that. Okay. So if it is the case that what you're doing is you're saying 1 in 10 men will do X and that's why I picked the bear, doesn't it stand a logical reason that if there were, I don't know, certain subgroups of men who are more likely, men in their 20s, for instance, right? Things like this, that you would try to adjust for those things?
Again, are we adjusting the bear as well?
No.
No? So what type of bear is it?
Why do we? Well, it's a random bear.
Well, no, because demographically, if you're talking about the different species of bear and who's more likely to attack a person.
Yeah, that's great. I agree that different bears may be more likely or less likely to attack. I agree.
Okay, so which bear?
Because
what
we're
bear
just keeping it. Here's the point. The point is we're keeping one side of the question the same. We're just asking a different aspect of the question.
Because you don't know the man you're going to come across. It could be a docile man who loves all men.
So now, if you could correct for demographics, would that change your answer?
No, I think I'd still choose the bear, honestly. Yeah.
Really? Like, I'm actually genuinely curious because I'm the type of person who most people think I would say the bear. That's who I've been brought up to think this. But literally, if you were plopped in a forest and you were just on a hike, you're just doing your everyday hike or whatever you want to do, you would rather on your walk and trail pass a bear than pass a random man. Like, take the nuance off of it. You would, on your own, just taking a morning hike,
on a normal
you
hike.
would rather pass a bear, any breed of bear, than a man. That's genuinely...
Any breed of bear? No, I would choose the man.
Okay, that's the point, though, because you don't know what man you're coming across, and you don't know what type of bear you're coming across.
I could probably ascertain that I'm not going to come across a polar bear.
Okay, but there's black
not?
bears, there's grizzly bears, there's
Random.
brown bears. You can't tell that man that's walking by you. You can't tell if he's an assaulter or if he's the most lovely man you've ever met. You can't tell that. So it's like if you had to choose without any
that's-
knowledge, if you had to choose between a bear and a man, you would choose a man.
That's also why I'm saying this question doesn't take into account the actual issue.
I get that, but this is what they would do to me. And I would I would stick down and I'm like, no, bear, because I'm thinking about the nuances and stuff.
Yeah.
They're trying to get you caught up and you're falling into it by not just admitting the fact that you would rather come across a man than a bear. And you're even a cougar, even a coyote, even a shark, even in reality, you would rather come across a man than a wild animal like that could tear you into shreds. Like I just listened to the voicemail, the call of this little girl and her stepdad in the forest while these bears and her cubs were eating them alive and she's talking to her mom. Okay, I much rather take my chances. And I also know about the case of McKenna, who was in the forest with the man and didn't survive after 10 minutes of calling 911. It can go either way, but I think statistically, we can realize that you have a better chance across a random man walking past him than a bear.
For surviving, yes, I agree.
Okay, and that's what they're asking. They're not asking the
that's what
nuance.
I
They're not
agreed
asking all
before.
the other
Well,
stuff behind
in this
it. That's
case,
all they're asking.
While I appreciate that exchange, in this case, we're not. We're asking. Sorry, popcorn.
You want me to? You need
I'll
a
take
little-
it. I'll
You need a
take
little
the
breather.
popcorn.
You need a little
No,
breather.
no. They're asking a question about if something is racist or not. So if you specifically could choose between a distinct race that you could spawn in with, if you refuse to choose one based on a preconceived notion that you had about that race, would that be racist?
Can you ask the question again?
Yeah, let's say that you thought, well, I don't know, Asian people were more likely to essay than white people. And so you chose, in this case, white people over Asian people. Is that racist?
Yes.
I would
You have
say
no predisposed interactions. Because if you have 3 bad interactions with a certain particular race, I don't feel like you have an issue with saying that you have an issue with them.
question for her.
But if you've never interacted with them, she's not going to answer.
Here, we're going to
I
let
know.
her answer the question, guys.
She
But
wasn't
we're going to
gonna
let her
answer.
try anyway.
Well, so I've had a lot of bad experiences with white people, Asian people, Hispanic
Asians?
people. Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Oh, okay.
Go ahead.
I've had a lot of bad experiences with men in general, which is why I picked the bear in the first place. So
And I have
honest-
no idea what this has to do with what I asked.
Wait, let me ask a quick follow-up question. So you've had a lot of bad experiences with men,
men,
right?
yeah.
Okay. So if you've had
and a woman,
but so you'd be totally fine if somebody's had like bad experiences with a racial group. They're like, oh, I don't want to be in this scenario. I don't want to be placed with
It
this racial group. I'd rather
depends
pick
on
the
how
bear.
bad the trauma is. Honestly, you
who
can't
are
control
you to-
PTSD.
Huh?
You can't control PTSD. Like
That's not the question, though. Answer the question.
What was the question?
Okay, so you're saying if you have trauma with men, totally justifiable to pick the bear. Question is, if somebody's had past, has had,
Yeah, let's say you only had good experiences with one type of
no,
of sub-demographic of men.
has had, say, 3 bad experiences with 3 black men. Would
Okay.
that be enough justification for you? Like you would have no problem with them for just because they had 3 bad experiences with 3 individual black men, that this would be enough pretext and justification to pick the bear over, black people, enough justification to pick the bear over a black person.
Again, depends on the trauma, but yeah. Why wouldn't that be?
Would that be racist?
I don't think it's inherently racist because you're not like, you don't hate the person because of the color of their skin. You just don't want to go through the flashbacks. It's, I don't know, honestly.
No. Okay.
Using deductive reasoning. is
Final,
not
final
racist.
question on this, on the bear thing. Can you at least have some sort of, this is almost going to be full circle here. What do you think about conservatives who object to transgender individuals having access to bathrooms of their opposite sex? Just transgender women who have access to women's bathrooms.
I'd say that if you're worried about them doing anything, then your actual worry is men, not the transness. You're worried about what's going on inside their head.
So you're fine with, like, for example, if conservatives were to put forth a law in a local jurisdiction or at state level or even the federal level that transgender women were barred from entering the women's bathroom, you'd be totally cool with this?
No. That they were
Why?
barred? That they were, like, not allowed?
They had to go into the bathroom with their sex.
Biologically assigned sex, yeah.
I don't...
But I don't understand. So you pick a bear over a man, over, yeah. Do you pick bear over a transgender woman?
No.
Huh. Even though it's a male?
Even though it's a transgender woman.
So
Sure.
that would be a subcategory of male.
Sure, if that's what you guys want to categorize it as, yes,
Well,
I would
no,
choose.
I mean that there's no other way to you can say it's woman, sure, or that's a woman.
I would think
But
that
anyway,
I
but
would
the
think
question-
that they are less dangerous than an actual man. Yes.
Okay, that's fine. But if from the conservative viewpoint, conservatives view transgender women going into women's bathrooms, what actual objection would you have?
I don't have an objection.
You literally just said you have an
No.
objection to conservative.
I have an objection to it being barred. I have an objection.
That's what I'm saying.
But that's the point.
They have an objection to it. They're going to attempt to legislate against it being possible to do.
Okay.
Because they have PTSD.
Because they have PTSD of a trans woman.
I don't know how else to make, like, your fear.
Well, you can't say that, like,
So the
you can't say.
legislation as a whole has trauma
Wait.
associated with the...
Well, I mean, it would have to from your worldview, right? If somebody stole a Snickers bar, they could conceivably, in your worldview, have as much trauma as somebody who, I don't know, witnessed a murder, right?
No.
No.
Oh, God forbid, a Snickers bar. But a murder?
How? Well, so wait, is that objective then?
What do you mean?
So I mean,
What box
are you?
what do you want me
There's
to
no
agree
box.
to?
I'm just
No, what is your goal with these questions?
My-
And why aren't we asking every single person here the same questions?
Are you upset?
Not necessarily.
Are you upset because am I giving you too much attention? Is it upsetting to you? Do you want me to back off in the attention for you? Are the questions getting a little too hot for you? Are you having trouble?
I'll
now?
answer.
No,
go ahead.
I want to answer. Are the questions getting a little too hot for you now?
No, I'm just
Well,
wondering.
then just answer them, and I'll answer yours. In fact, again, I'll make the same deal.
Why aren't we asking everybody else the same
We-
question?
No, who says
let
we
me
wouldn't?
answer that. Hold on, let me answer that. You're the only person who picked bear.
Okay.
Yes, obviously we're going to have the conversation with you.
Okay.
Nobody
but
else picked bear. That's why.
Picking bear does not have anything to do with the transgender
But
argument.
here, I'll explain it super easily. You're afraid of SA. Conservatives are scared of either themselves, if they're women, or their daughters, or their sisters, or whoever being SA'd in the bathroom.
That happens regardless. Men will sneak their way into the bathrooms and harm kids. So your issue is not with trans women. Your issue is with men, period.
Yeah, but
That's
their
it.
issue is with transgender women.
Yeah, because they're trying to target a specific group of people who they don't want to have rights.
But they don't. Hold on, no.
So-
Just stop. Hold on. Let me answer your thing. They don't want cis men in the women's bathroom either.
But it happens regardless. So what is
yeah,
barring
they're
trans
sure.
women?
No. They're already against that. They're
So-
already against.
But
men
trans
in the
women
bathroom.
statistically don't commit the same amount of crimes that you are fearful of.
I don't know what the crime statistics.
And men don't statistically maul people very often either. But the thing is you'd still pick a bear. The question is not to ascertain whether or not you think the likelihood is the same. It has nothing to do with that. The question is just that within your purview, if it's enough for you to say I'd pick men based on my intuitive feelings, right? And this is why I would have some sort of guard against that. Why wouldn't it be totally fair for conservatives to have the same guard against it?
I'm sorry, are we allowing bears into women's restrooms now?
I'm sorry, I don't know what that has to do with the question.
I don't understand your question.
No.
It's just simply you pick bear over man because of hold on because of fear of SA. conservatives don't want this group in the bathroom because of this fear. Simply put.
Okay, so my decision, because of my experience with SA, which has happened multiple times, my experience to me, personally picking a bear, which has nothing to do but affect me, is now justification for conservatives targeting a group of marginalized individuals.
Yeah, well, if it comes from the set of preference based on whatever you conceive personal trauma to be, in this case, SA. It doesn't have to be SA. It could be you snubbed your toe. It could be you punched yourself in the face. Whatever it is, it doesn't really matter, right? The ideal objective here is the same. If there's some experience of trauma or you feel like it'll be traumatic, you would prefer X thing. If that is the case, why can't conservatives make the same preference?
They can voice the same preference, but at the same time, men will still go into women's bathrooms and assault people.
And bears will still maul people.
Barring transgender women from accessing the bathroom that they feel the most comfortable in is not going to stop anything.
Darkavia, you had something in the
But
Yeah,
would it just one last question. Okay, I'll just grant everything you just said as being true, even though I don't think it is. I'll just grant it all as being true.
Yes.
How in any way, shape, or form would that have anything to do with whether or not it's completely legitimate if you have these preferences based on trauma for conservatives to not have the same preferences based on what they conceive of as being trauma, and then making legislation towards mitigating that trauma for other people, which is exactly what you're trying to do.
Have they themselves experienced trauma from a transgender woman?
Perhaps, or perhaps
Maybe.
not.
Maybe.
Perhaps not. Do you think...
As a whole, again...
I don't understand. Do you think that a woman needs to experience being SA'd to not want to get SA'd?
No, but I think...
Of course not. So therefore, we can ascertain that you don't have to experience the trauma to still want to mitigate the trauma you would experience.
But to top that, would you change your mind if, let's say that a transgender woman now, after the transition, full transition, but was accused of sexually assaulting a woman when he was before the transition, would you change your opinion about when transgenders going into bathrooms if they were sexually, like they did SA, on...
So if I understand you correctly, you're saying if one transgender woman before they transitioned...
if any, hypothetical...
yeah, but if any one, if one of them...
No, I'm saying if before they were transitioned, it was a man. And so what if they committed that SA on a woman before becoming a woman? Does that change your opinion?
I don't think that we have the right to make a law based off of the act of one person.
So they were committed of that crime as a man, but now as a woman.
I mean, why not?
Does that change your opinion?
Why couldn't you make a law based on one person?
Because why would you attack a marginalized group of people? Why would you say that they can't go into a woman's bathroom because of the sole choices?
Because it happened once doesn't mean you're going to accept it to happen again.
Like I said, it's going to happen regardless.
Yeah, I'm saying that, but I'm saying that when you can make
it illegal to allow somebody to use the restroom?
Well, yes, but when you can actually say that it's fine because it has happened with one trans woman that was once a man and did that crime, and now you're just going to say it's okay because only one person did it. Only one now is a woman but was a man when they committed the crime.
Does the trans make it different?
Because of the perception of trauma. Why does a bear make it different?
Yeah, because he's a woman now, it disqualifies the crime that he did when he was a man?
No, what I'm saying
Brian,
is...
can I add
Go
something?
off, Queen. That was for Darkavia.
Yeah?
No, because I was literally about to move it on. Sorry.